the sixth. It's the big dumper when the Mariners need him most.
From MLB.com, this is the Morning Lineup Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Monaghan. Today is Monday, October 13th, and Cal Raleigh has turned Rogers Center into his own personal dumping grounds. We'll get into the Mariners' big-time Game 1 victory against the Blue Jays that included timely hitting and a clutch pitching performance by Bryce Miller. And hey, we also have Game 2 of the ALCS later today and Game 1 of the NLCS. I'll do some previews of both, just because I really like you guys. Let's get to it. After a super long, super exhilarating 15-inning win over the Tigers in the ALDS on Friday, Mariners fans were worried about their team having to head to Toronto so soon after on Sunday night with not much of a break. Would they be tired? Would they have too slow a start? Well, George Springer on the very first pitch in the bottom of the first inning did not help those concerns.
On the first pitch, George Springer lights the fire. New series, same story for this Blue Jays offense. One pitch in, it's 1-0.
Now this one's a little bit of a shock to your system. When you're a starting pitcher on the first pitch, you give up a homer. It's like a quick wake-up call. It's not one you anticipate.
Springer's 21st home run in his postseason career, passing Derek Jeter for 5th all-time, 1-0 Blue Jays. After that, the game became a pitcher's duel. The Mariners' Bryce Miller gave up just one other hit through the next 5 innings. Kevin Gausman matched him, throwing 5 scoreless frames. But then, in the 6th inning, up came that 60 home run hitting catcher. First name Big, last name Dumper.
High drive right field, Cal Raleigh has connected and tied the game in the 6th. It's the big dumper when the Mariners need him most.
Cal Raleigh's second homer of the postseason to tie the game at 1. He also now has 9 home runs in his first 14 games at Rogers Center. He basically owns the place. Julio Rodriguez later walked in the inning, got to second on a wild pitch, and then Jorge Polanco, the hero of Game 5 of the DS, stepped up to the dish.
It's the 3-2. Polanco rips one to left field, base hit. Rodriguez heads home and the Mariners have taken the lead. Jorge Polanco, as he did on Friday night, gives Seattle the lead 2-1 here in Game 1.
Postseason Polanco would add another big RBI hit in the 8th to make it 3-1. And that was plenty for Miller's 6 brilliant innings of 1-run ball and the Mariners bullpen. A huge Game 1, 3-1 victory in Toronto. Cal Raleigh talked to Tom Verducci postgame about his team's victory.
Yeah, we're a tough team. 1 through 9. Pitchers came out today, really impressed us. They did awesome, especially after short rest and how many pitches they did the other day. So can't say enough about Bryce Miller, obviously on short rest and giving us 6 strong innings was huge.
Well, let's talk about Bryce. As you mentioned, he had never pitched on short rest before. It's the longest start on short rest by anybody in the postseason in 6 years. Didn't look that way in the first inning. Take me through that mound visit. When you went out there, 2 runners on base, already a run on the board.
Yeah, give credit to Springer. He's an awesome player. Obviously got that one out first pitch. And Luke's gave him a really tough at-bat there. After that, he kind of started being a little picky there and really just told him to go out there and trust his stuff and, let it play and, force the contact. They're a good team. So, we know they're going to hit the ball around. You just got to be able to locate and mix speeds.
Just 100 pitches to stop what had been a red-hot offense.
Yeah, they're one of the best teams in the league, so they're really tough. They get great pitchers, great hitters. Like I said, it's going to be tough, and we just got to keep doing it.
The Blue Jays don't have to wait too long to try to get revenge in Game 2. That'll be later today at 5:03 p.m. Eastern on FS1. And they'll have one of their rising postseason stars on the mound in Trey Yesavich. Yesavich has only pitched once this October, but it was a brilliant start during the ALDS against the Yankees. He struck out 11 and walked just 1 over 5 1/3 scoreless innings. He's the guy Toronto wants on the mound in a situation like this. Manager John Schneider believes his squad will bounce back.
This is going to be a hard-fought series, man. These guys will be ready for it. I've said it a million times, they're going to be ready to play tomorrow. It does not put any extra pressure on Trey. It's another game, right? We're trying to figure out a way to win 4, and I think Trey will be up for it tomorrow, and I think our guys will be up for the challenge to, kind of show what we've been doing all year offensively tomorrow as well.
The Mariners will send Logan Gilbert to the mound for Game 2. Gilbert has given up just 1 run in 8 innings this postseason, and recently did some relief work in the 15-inning marathon Game 5 of the DS. He went 2 scoreless innings with 2 strikeouts. Manager Dan Wilson knew how big it was getting this first victory on the road.
Coming back tonight and getting Game 1 is obviously a big momentum shift for us, and a lot of work to do yet, but the job that Bryce Miller did tonight was phenomenal. And you look at offensively, Polo again, 2 huge knocks to give us, the runs there to put us ahead, and Cal's homer to tie it, was a big step too. So just some great at bats up and down. We had a little bit of traffic, not able to do it a bunch tonight, but I tell you, our guys put up some good at bats, and this was just a good win up and down. And as you said, after coming back after that long one and a travel day yesterday, it feels good to get Game 1.
Coming up, another championship series starts today, the National League Championship Series. We'll break down Game 1 after the break. City of Angels versus the City of Cheese. Los Angeles versus Milwaukee. The Dodgers versus the Brewers at 8:08 Eastern on TBS or HBO Max. Who will former Brewer Dodger Gary Sheffield be rooting for? Jeremy Burnitz? Elmer Descends? I don't know, but I would love to know what Elmer Descends is doing. The Dodgers will put Blake Snell on the mound for Game 1. Snell's been lights out so far this postseason. He's given up just 2 earned runs in 2 starts over 13 innings. In those 2 starts, he struck out 9 both times. Snell spoke on Sunday on how he'd approach the Brewers lineup.
The goal is, keep them off the bases. If they are on the bases, it just depends which runner's on base. No matter what, it'll change the way, you view them, the leg lift to home, the time, the looks, disrupting that. Like, I've studied them. I understand who's running, who's not running, counts, all that. So if we get to that point, then I'll be ready for it and well aware of it.
The Dodgers were swept in the season series against the Brewers, losing all 6 games. Dave Roberts talked about how things have changed and not changed since then.
Yeah, I think that they're similar to what we saw earlier this year, in the sense of, I think they're playing really good baseball. Towards the end of the year, they kind of scuffled a little bit, but, they're back to playing, the way they play. I think we're in a much better spot, just as far as on the health side, on the position player side, on the pitching side, and we're playing better. So, it should be a great series.
Against Snell, Pat Murphy hasn't really given a clear answer. It sounds like it might be a bullpen opener game, and then using either Quinn Priester, Jose Quintana, or a combination of both. Priester gave up 4 runs in 2/3 of an inning during a rough start against the Cubs, while the veteran Quintana pitched 3 scoreless innings of relief in the DS. Murphy talked about his thoughts on pitchers for games 1 through 3.
Well, I think that our success using an opener is, Freddie's going to pitch Game 2. It's probably pretty obvious, right? It's his rest, where you can do, we can bring him back then at the end if we need him. So I think you can look at that as a probable. Game 1 looks at, okay, who is on our team that can give us length? Quintana, Priester, something like that, right? Give us a bulk. And we may use an opener there in Game 1. And then we'll look at Game 3 when we get to it.
The Brewers manager talked about the star power the Dodgers have, but also firmly believes in the strength of his club taking them down.
I admire this team. I admire the guys in the clubhouse, what they've overcome, what they're about, the who. I say that a lot. I hope I'm understood, but I understand myself, but I'm not sure anybody else does. But the who that they are impresses the hell out of me. Just like how they go about their business, how they show up to perform every day, what they talk about, how they care about each other. They're not baseball players that are comfortable. They're still hungry. And hungry players, they make the manager look good, that's for sure. And I'm just proud as hell of those guys.
That's all for today's morning lineup. Anthony Castrovince will be back with you tomorrow. We got 2 championship series games this evening. Mariners Blue Jays Game 2 at 5:03 Eastern on FS1 and Fox, followed by Dodgers Brewers Game 1 at 8:08 Eastern PM on TBS and HBO Max. Your night is taken care of. You're welcome. And as always, please don't forget to leave us a rating and a review, share this podcast with the baseball lovers in your life, and enjoy all of the playoff baseball today.